Roll call, sir.
Mr. Cater.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Buckley.
Here.
Mr. Quan present.
As you wish. Please stand for the invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please be with us this morning and take care of us, watch after us, watch and help us make the best decisions for the county. Dear Lord, please be with the Camden family as their passing of Archie. Dear Lord, look over us and just be with all families and keep them safe. And thank you for keeping everybody safe yesterday during the bad weather. I ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I would like to put an amendment to the agenda on this. With the closing yesterday, it messed up the schedule on getting things on the agenda, and this needs to be done. So I'd like to add, change the supplemental agreement for the Sand Creek Bridge BRO project.
Okay.
Motion?
I'll make a motion, we amend the agenda to add the change in the supplemental agreement for Sand Creek Bridge BRO project.
Second?
Second.
All in favor of this amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And, okay, it's working. Nick, I was afraid it wasn't gonna work. Okay, now here's the consent agenda, and again, because of yesterday's messed up schedule, there were a couple of changes. First of all, the Joseph Lombardi situation there, he's decided to go full-time, and his pay will be $16.06 per hour. Also, there's another couple of items. The public administrator fees received report for 2023, and the public administrator inventoried assets on hand for 2023. Now, if anybody has an issue with us doing it this way, we can do this next week. We can put these changes off till next week. So, we just want to make sure everything is above board or straight. So,
Public administrator fees was on there, Harold.
say it again?
The public administrator reports were both on there.
Yeah, but I didn't have that in time. I didn't have it in time. I've got it
I
here.
put it on there Friday.
She put
Okay.
these on there Friday here.
Yeah. Okay, I've got it now.
Okay.
But anyway, so basically then, the only thing that wasn't published is the part-time change for Mr. Lombardi, go from part-time to full-time. So, do I have a
Will he
motion?
still have time to have his trophy?
Have his children?
No, it's a
That's
basket.
that's in 3 weeks. All right.
Is there some way we can preclude the clerk from saying anything? Okay. Preclude, how'd you like that word?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with the addition of the change of the Joseph Lombardi part-time to full-time at $16.06 an hour.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay.
He's on my side.
Okay, also on that, I'm having trouble, Nick, with my, okay, on that, you see a removal of coffee maker in there. And I wanted to explain that. This is the one next door here. And just need to get rid of that thing. So if anybody needs that, there it is. And there's an explanation on where it came from. I think it came off the ark. So, anyway, I just want to explain that item. Now, this is the amended item, the change. You want to talk about this?
Sure, I'll talk about it. John Gross, Highway Administrator. We need to make an amendment to the contract for the Sand Creek Bridge. A few things have come up since that original contract was signed, and the new total will be $55,234, an increase of $3,200. And this is for the, I don't believe that spelling's correct.
I
on
noticed
there.
that, yeah.
On the
You don't
cultural
like
resources,
cultural-
no.
Okay.
Cultural Resources Survey at Sand Creek, that project has been delayed a little bit due to the county trying to acquire some permanent easement and Ameren relocating the power lines. Those power poles will be moved at no cost to the county. So
But it is a slow process.
it's a very slow process. These cultural resource surveys slow everything down. When when MoDOT's involved.
And that's a new thing for the future, right?
It is. Every VRO project that we are in right now will require this.
So and this is one of the first ones, wasn't it? Okay.
So this would be on the VRO projects, so that wouldn't like mess up any of our grants ones?
Well,
Because
I
that's
mean, this is a
different, right?
supplemental agreement. I mean, it just has to go through Richard.
Gotcha.
We have to have this.
Well, I worry about those grant timelines and stuff like that, so.
Well, this one's not a ARPA grant
No, I
or
am,
something
yeah.
like that, so MoDOT's facilitating this grant.
Gotcha.
And since this is the first one, I can be forgiven for not spelling culture correctly.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
John, is this still on for this year?
Yes. I think May 24 is the bid date for this project.
We have a lot of projects.
And I'm gonna be talking about it, I think, here on the next slide.
Okay. Need a motion to approve this amendment?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve amended to the agenda item. It will be $3,200 supplement agreement for Sand Creek, which makes the total new project amount at $55,234.
Second.
I'll second that.
Questions?
Just so you guys know, you will be getting a DocuSign from MoDOT for this.
Nora Fuller?
That's Norm. It
Okay.
comes through Dave first because he's the LPA
Yeah.
for the county.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Oh, look at that.
Just gonna stay up here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick, I'm gonna need a little help real quick.
Nick, he needs a lot of help.
Just a little.
Want to use my computer? Okay, make it easy there.
He earned his money today, so correct on there, we should. No, we're good. I think just use the wrong one. All right.
Thank you, man.
John Gross, Highway Administrator. It is that time of year again. This is the 23-24 Administrator's Report for the Road and Bridge Department. Nick?
Oh, I just closed that. There's an open window. Just click. Yeah, hold on. There you go. There's an open window.
Is that the first slide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, so 2023, these are completed paving projects. There's not a variety of roads. We had Berry Road and Primrose. And the reason we chose Berry Road for one of our 23 projects, we had to spend some money. And by that, I mean, we had a project planned out of our budget that we were gonna pay for, but due to that not being bid out till the end of this, well, end of last year, beginning of this year, we had to use some of our overlay money on Berry. That was gonna be part of the governor's cost share and ARPA project when the bridge is replaced. But due to some of the timing, we had to spend that overlay money, so we went to Berry Road. We also did Primrose while we were up there with a subtotal of 1.1 million. And then we had $535,000 in asphalt repair by our road and bridge crew. This is our little paver that we go out and make repairs. They could be anywhere from 20 feet long to, there's several roads that we did a quarter mile of with this drag box. So when we talk about overlay, when you see an overlay budget, this is everything combined. It may be what we contract out, and it may be what we put into it ourselves. So we spent a little over $1.7 million putting asphalt on the road last year. Something I'll talk about a little bit, I think it's maybe next slide. So for 24, we budgeted 1.85 million. This will include our contracted overlay, repairs made by the road and bridge crew. This is any kind of new construction or widening. Let's go right here. So when we talk about new construction and widening of an overlaid road, this is Colony Church just outside of Farmington, and that road right there is 15 feet wide. So you can see the blind hill. This direction you're looking towards Double E Highway. Double E lays about 3/4 of a mile to the west there. One of the issues that we come up with is to the left here, there's a section of property that the Farmington School District now owns that may be the site of a new school. Well, when this happens, we're gonna have traffic, school bus traffic, increased volume of traffic coming out on our county road. So you can see the difficulty with the slope of the banks. There's another slide. This is looking the other direction. There's a cemetery that lays about 3 feet off the edge of the road, and then you have power poles on the other side. So the project that we're working on right now on Feezer, those power poles are about $10,000 a piece to move. And when we move those, we have to get permission from the landowners for an easement to do so. And I'm pretty sure we can't get an easement from the people on the right-hand side, so we're gonna have to go with the ones on the left. So you guys can kind of see the issues that come up when we talk about building roads that look like that. That's Berry Road. That's a 22-foot wide road surface. It's got center striping. It's got edge line white striping. It's got a 2-foot rock shoulder along the whole road. But that's an old MoDOT route that has a descriptive easement, a 60-foot easement, and we can go in there and do what we want. So you see the challenge when we talk about road construction projects and the cost of it. Because right now, the project on Feezer, it's costing us about $1 million a mile. That's to move power poles for all of the land. Basically, yards that have to be fixed, ditches have to be cut, driveways put back, the road widened, overlaid. Everything that involves widening the road is about $1 million a mile right now.
Yeah, and I didn't wanna cut in on John, but it's like on Feezer. You can have a meeting and get the people here, and all it takes is 1 or 2 that don't agree with you, and it gets challenging. So, I mean, like a normal project, John will tell you, if we could get them in, you know, look over the project and get everybody to agree, but, I mean, sometimes it might take a year to even get them to agree, so it's challenging. But what John's talking about in the future is our main arteries, the Hillsboroughs, this. If you go up and drive that road, you know, that's what we're looking at in the future. That's what he's doing. They're very good at it, to get our roads wide.
Well, we're trying, and that's
Yeah.
something we're gonna lead into eventually. Our RIT budget, we have a $2.7 million revenue budgeted for '24. I think we have budgeted $2.4 million in expenses. And this includes all of our repairs to our dump trucks, pickup trucks, mowing equipment, excavating equipment. This is all of the rock that we use on the roadways, our gas, our diesel fuel, culvert pipe, striping, overlay, winter control, all comes out of that $2.4 million. So when you see that we're doing 1.85 budgeted for our paving, it doesn't leave a whole lot of money to make repairs on these equipments, to buy culvert pipes, spend money on rock. So we're doing what we can with the money that we spend for overlay. And as we go into bridges, I'll kind of get into that as well.
John, explain
Yes, sir.
what RIT is.
Road improvement tax, that's a ½ cent, or a quarter-cent
Quarter
sales
cent,
tax.
yeah.
Yep, dedicated to road improvement.
Is that going to, end?
That ends in 2029.
And that'd be a serious matter for
That
us.
is a very serious matter. I've talked to a few people, kind of getting the ball rolling on that. Because if we don't have that money, we'll be patching roads with brown point shovels and coal mix.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
And a lot of gravel.
It'll be a lot of gravel. We will be turning roads back to gravel.
If they look at what we're doing and what you guys have done, they have to see that we made a promise to use that money back when it happened. And of course, you know, things sunset, and we understand that, but they have to look at what we've done and what we're doing for the future. So hopefully that will help us in that, bringing that back.
I hope so, because I said, we're very dependent upon it to repair our roadways. So we have 400 miles of county maintained road. with a 15-year life cycle on an asphalt road, that's the first 5 years of no maintenance. Second 5 years, you have a minimal maintenance, maybe filling some cracks, doing a small pothole, something of that nature. And then the last 5 years, you're gonna have some major repairs on it, where you may go in and cut a section out and re-asphalt it. Well, if that's the case, we need to be paving 26.6 miles a year. And the average cost in '23 for us was $140,000 a mile. Now, what skewed that a little bit is we did Berry Road. Berry Road's 22 feet wide, it's 3 inches thick, and we had fiber placed in that asphalt to go over the old concrete state route to try to eliminate some of the cracking in the asphalt. That was the most efficient way to cover Berry Road, was to put fiber in.
Okay, that's in the mix,
It's in the mix.
like it would be in concrete.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We could have pulverized the old concrete, turned everything back to gravel, added a gravel base, and then overlaid it, but we can't afford that.
Is that the same fiberglass strands, the same stuff?
No, they're different than what goes in concrete. So, the average cost per mile in '22 was $85,000. So Clay and I have talked about this, we really don't know where it's gonna come in at. We're guessing 100,000, you know, somewhere in that area, 95,000,
Huge volatility in the oil market, you never know.
so.
And I would like to add, before you
Go ahead.
move on, John, this slide probably describes better than anything why the commission in past years, and our current commission, is reluctant to annex in or take in any other roads.
Yeah.
Because we are really behind on being able to take care of the roads that we have and maintaining the quality that they need to be. So I know, the commission has received a lot of criticism for not taking in additional roads throughout the county, whether that be subdivisions or roads or whatever. But this slide here explains better than anything why they're reluctant to do something.
We hear that a lot of real estate agents are telling prospective buyers, yeah, the county's gonna take this in.
Right.
Yeah, and they're lying.
They are. So,
I wasn't gonna use that word, but yeah.
so for '24, we budgeted approximately 19 miles. As you see on the bottom, we have $250,000, maybe there it is somewhere, right there, for asphalt maintenance. That's by our crews. Last year, we spent $535,000 on those repairs. So if we go over that $250,000 budget, that comes out of our overlay budget. So that means less miles contracted out to be overlaid.
And realize we may have to dip into our reserves a little bit by overspending that way, but Road and Bridge is in the black and always will be.
Well, and then we've talked about it,
We'll never spend more than what we have.
we actually, and what John's talking about in the future is, the overlay maintenance and construction is two different things.
It is.
And construction costs way more money, and we really haven't anything budgeted for construction. So as a commission, and John, then we sit down and talk, we're looking at ways in the future to maybe access a construction
Fund.
and a maintenance fund, a construction fund, because that, and it, you know, people might, you know, not like, because it's slow, but if you do, you know, 2-3 miles a year, but you're getting something done, it's just instead of letting it go.
Well, I think
So-
if you take a look at our $1.8 million we have budgeted
Yeah.
for overlay this year, and it's $1 million a mile for the construction and overlay, I don't think we can get by
Yeah.
at 1.8 miles a year when we need to be overlaying roughly 27 miles.
Yeah,
So,
it's really difficult when you look down trying to figure out how we're gonna do this, but
It is.
we'll try to find something.
we will. So 2023 completed striping projects, it was just the roughly 6 miles of Berry Road that we had overlaid. Is the only road that we had striped last year. This year we have some of our other primary routes to be striped. 2024, the new equipment for the road and bridge is just 2 pickup trucks and a new enclosed box trailer for our bridge crew that's about 20 years old, so we're gonna update that. This is our North Barn storage building that we're currently building. This replaces the old block building that lays just to the west, the old MoDOT shed. And it also replaces a building that we gave to the sheriff's department that's really not usable for us, the maintenance department down at the sheriff's office. could utilize it more than we could. So this will be basically a machine shed. It'll be open in the front. It allows us to park all of our tractors. Oil distributor, backhoes if need be. During the winter, we can cover our stuff up there.
You say it's open on the front.
It will be.
What about security?
So when the 911 tower
Yeah.
goes in up there,
Okay.
we will have a fence that will
Okay.
secure the perimeter. So that's in the works as well. Our 2023 completed bridge projects, we just completed a box culvert structure on Corber Road as we're widening that road. Depending on what the city of Farmington does in the future, it's needed. It was a low water structure that kind of traps people in, and if the city ends up closing Corber on the west side,
Because of the
this-
airport.
because of the airport, this will allow traffic to flow during the rain situation. And then we finished the old Jackson, bridge replacement. This was a deficient bridge on the MoDOT list, and this was built in-house by our road and bridge crew with reclaimed beams. It's part of that beam package that we purchased 2 years ago. We couldn't get by with the 30-foot solid beams there, so we had to go with the 24-footers, and we did a double span. Since we did that in-house with reclaimed beams, that does not qualify us for soft match credit, but the money that was spent on that project was a huge savings to the county. We originally purchased the 5 sets of beams for $70,000, and then we have about $18,000 in concrete there. So if you divide it out, you know, we're under $30,000 for that bridge. We can't go buy a set of beams for less than $100,000.
Well, then, you know, we wanna really emphasize, that's like our maintenance crews, your bridge crews.
Our bridge crew is a
People,
construction
we
crew.
have got a very good bunch
Yeah.
of people working there. They're very professional, and you go drive over one of these bridges, and, I mean, they do a great job.
Well, when you see what's budgeted, especially out of our 007 account, we're trying to funnel as much money as we can right now into overlay. And if we can go out and save $70,000 on a bridge project, that's close to a mile of road that we can add to our infrastructure. So our 24 bridge projects coming up this year, if you see at the bottom, and I've talked about these in the past, these are our BRO projects going on right now. Sand Creek, which you guys just agreed to supplemental. Then we have King School Road, Kings Road, and Silver Springs. And those 3 projects,
King School Road?
King School, Kings,
Okay.
Silver Springs, and Sand Creek,
Okay.
they are our current BRO projects right now. Silver Springs, King School, and Kings are all at the 89, 11% match. So that means the county has to fund the 11%, whether it be real money, budgeted money, or soft match credit. And I think they're coming in more right now, like 91.9, and not the 89.11. So Silver Springs is about a 480, I'm just throwing these numbers out there, about $480,000 bridge. King's School is $650,000, and King's is $800,000. That's the cost of the bridge. Our part to pay is about $210,000 out of our budget, is what we would have to pay. But we have enough soft match credit from replacing these deficient bridges with in-house crews. It's not gonna cost us any money. It does it upfront, and then those reimbursements go back through Bridget in the auditor's office, and they don't cost us money. So utilizing our crews to build these bridges that are deficient. We're building 3 bridges at no cost to the county.
How many deficient bridges will you have when this is done?
Glad you asked, Carol, but I'll go to that slide in just a second.
I just want you to see this one too, keep reading it, start from the top if you
Well, I
want.
will, and I know you're excited about that.
guess
We
I
wanna
gotta call
replace
this
the
very
Cedar
fast.
Run low water structure. We had an estimate from our engineering firm that deals with our bridges, that bridge would come in around the $970,000 mark to have a contractor come in and build that. Well, I know we've spoke about it in the past. We're gonna do that in-house with our bridge crew, because we will not receive soft match credit because it's a low water structure. It doesn't qualify for BRO because it's a soft water, low water structure. So the only way that we can build that bridge is for us to fund it, county to fund it. If we do it, we're estimating about $350,000 that we can go in and build that structure. We will be the general contractors. We will bid out the beams. We will bid out the crane service, and the rest of it will be something that we do in-house. So, since this is a county-funded project, saving $620,000, that's a pretty significant number.
John, are there
Yes, sir.
any easement problems with any construction there?
There won't be any easement problems. That one will be in-house. MoDOT's not involved.
Okay.
We don't have to do whatever Harold's word was up there, resources
Yeah.
survey. So, yeah, we won't have to do any of that.
Well,
Put the knife in and twist it while you're at it.
The only thing we gotta do is make sure we satisfy Bob with the, flood permit.
Absolutely.
well, then not only that, people, if you're driving over one of these new bridges, you'll see how nice they are, but, the one he's talking about up north, there's not lots of traffic on it, but me back in the old business, there's been people drowned, the people up there, this is almost impassable if it's water, so
Well,
I think we'll be able to help the
He
people.
just went over again this morning, and that
Yeah.
whole water structure is
I
like
got
10 feet wide.
I got a video first thing this morning and we were
Yeah.
just talking about it.
It-
We are definitely helping the people up there, and John and his crew is gonna be doing it at a price that we can afford and they can do the work, so.
Anything.
I really see nothing wrong, this is great for the county.
Well, and another reason we wanna construct this low, or reconstruct this low water structure into a bridge project, we have another bridge that lays at the north end of Hillsborough, the intersection K, Seven Arch Bridge, which is a historical bridge that we cannot load rate right now because they're unaware of, I mean, we have no idea how this bridge was constructed. School buses cross it daily, dump trucks cross it daily. So at some point, we are gonna work on a preservation grant and see if we
This is
can.
back World War II, what do you call it?
WPA days.
WCA, thank you.
So we're gonna work on a grant to try to get that bridge built back up. I don't know what they would have to do. I imagine it'll be very expensive. But when we do, this would be a go-around
This
instead
is
of
gonna
using
be the-
67
This
highway.
is gonna be their first spot.
Yeah, so we've gotta have that in play before we can work on Seven Arch Bridge.
Gotcha.
Osbury Chapel, we were actually gonna do right after the Feeser Bridge that we're building right now, but we're gonna go to Cedar Run. And we'll push Osbury back just a little bit. Berry Road Bridge, talked to Cater this morning about that. We anticipate that to bid out in 3 weeks. So we've worked everything with the landowners, the easement issues. We satisfied MoDOT with all the revisions through Smith and Company. And I was told last week, 3 weeks.
And realize too, backing up in this presentation, the $920,000 that we spent on Berry Road was with anticipation of this bridge being replaced and the increased flow of traffic on that roadway.
On that.
And I know there's a lot of public anticipation about the Berry Road Bridge.
Yeah.
And that is moving.
Yes.
It is moving, yeah. It was
That's
just,
probably a bad way to say that, but,
and then our crew right now is currently constructing a 30-foot bridge on Feeser Road. That was a box culvert structure before. It was cheaper for us to utilize the beams that we had to go in there and make a bridge than to cast in place a box culvert structure. So that's what we're doing. So, as of 24, deficient bridges, everything you see in yellow is either programmed or in design or something that will be constructed this year. At the bottom, you see the old Route 8, built in 1950. That is on MoDOT's call for projects right now. So when they do that in March, it could be selected for another BRO project. And then we have 2 on top, the old cadets, they're not eligible for full funding right now. So they're just kind of hanging,
why, are they low water or what?
they're not deficient enough for full funding. The 2 you see in green, one is in the city of Leadwood and the other one is in Iron Mountain Lake. But the one in Iron Mountain Lake is programmed right now through the state as well.
Is that at the dam?
That is at the dam.
Okay.
So,
Well, John, in your opinion though, by the end of the year, bridge-wise, we are well into the future here, upgrades on our bridges in the county.
we are. I think we've invested enough in the bridges in the last 6 years that once we get this taken care of, we can focus in on overlay or construction of primary routes. So, really, I've talked about this before. I'm just gonna hit on what's highlighted. We sold $174,000 in soft match last year. So that's money that comes back into our account. Cash money. So we sold a little over $350,000 in soft match credit, because we sell that at a rate of 2 to 1. So like I spoke about, these 3 bridges that we're building, Kings School, and Silver Springs, they're no cost to the county. And we made $174,000 last year. So we really try to work this soft match the way we can, but it will come to an end. When we don't have any deficient bridges, we can't go make soft match credit. So, it will come to an end soon, but us utilizing, this soft match and the BRO system over the last 6 years to get our deficient bridge list, basically not
manipulating, but utilizing.
utilizing.
As I told John, I have a meeting after this, and it started at 10, but I'm gonna go down and get my 2 cents put in before it's all over, 'cause it's supposed to last till, you know how these meetings go.
Oh, yeah.
But, he was right, he goes, I said, I really don't like those meetings, but having somebody on there to be a representative, and I don't know, Harold hasn't.
Seemed to help last year.
Yeah, not to say that, but yes, I think it does, and I'm going down there for another boring
Well,
BRO
we
meeting.
need old Route 8 put in.
So,
Last thing I'll touch on real quick, it's not on the slide. We had an ice storm over the last 2 days, crews out working. We had no incidents.
Except for that one, the guy fell out by the road.
Yeah, I took a tumble yesterday. It was a little slick.
Not gonna name
Do we have
any
video?
names.
Yeah, I'll say it was me.
Yeah.
But just realize on
IT and
any,
videos.
no, it was not on camera. Just realize any winter storm that we have a little over $3.5 million in equipment out on the road, on county roads. And dump trucks, smaller pickup trucks, the loaders that we use to load the winter material. So it's a lot of money.
value on the people that were in this.
They're invaluable, right? And that's what we're worried about more. Trucks can be replaced, equipment can be replaced, mailboxes can all be replaced. We want them to go home safe. And just, there is no training for snow removal or to drive on ice.
Hands on.
So, one issue that we run into, it was a big issue yesterday. We got out there 4 hours before the ice started and pre-treated the county roads. But our issue was the state highways. So our guys have to travel these state highways to get to county roads. And we had one guy, he had to back in off 67, and he backed through Y Highway to our county roads because the state road hadn't been hit yet.
John, how many miles was that? People don't realize that.
It was a little over 4 miles.
That's a
that he had to
wide
back.
highway from 67.
In the dark.
In the dark.
And
In the dark.
I mean, you're talking about a 2-hour batch.
Yeah.
So he uses a whole load of material to get to, just to get to their road, then he has to come back and load, and then he has to go back and hit the county road. And these drivers know that when it's icy like that, they can't run completely out of material, because if you get in a situation where you're gonna be stuck, then you gotta have some material to work off of. So I just wanna say thanks to those guys, for the job well done last night, the job well done all year, because, you know, Clay and I are here in the meetings, and we're the ones that usually get our picture taken, or whatever, people talk to us, but it's really our workers that do the great job. And, I mean, there's a lot of great county workers, but I focus on road and bridge, so I really wanna, you know, say thank you to those 32 employees out there that, you know, drive in.
Across the board, we're blessed. with good
We are.
people.
It took some of my guys a little over 1.5 hours yesterday morning to get in, just to come in and clear the roads for everybody else, so I just wanna say thank you.
John, will your report be, can you submit that to us so we can have it for the record, and will it be and put on the video? Because a lot of people ask this question, what roads and stuff, and that would be good to have.
We've
on
kinda
our
got away
website.
from listing which roads we're gonna overlay.
I understand, but
especially
your
this time
report
of
that you
year.
just did, just if we
Yeah,
could have that on the
Harold-
website.
Harold has it right here, so if not, I can forward it to you. Any questions?
What
Yes,
does
sir.
BRO stand for?
It's a bridge replacement program through MoDOT.
Bridge replacement
Uh,
authorization.
Off system?
It's off system bridge replacement.
Yeah, bridge replacement off system.
But they've changed the wording of it. It's now BFP, BRO.
Oh,
They
there's all kinds
reconstructed
of-
the whole system about a year and a half ago.
They have redone the BRO system, and it's,
Then there's a slide on there that
Very
really gives
confusing.
you the information of the soft match credit, the BRO, and how it works.
All right.
If not, I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Anybody else? Rich isn't here today.
Thanks, John.
There you go. You're welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate you all. And, you know, with yesterday's event, we really appreciated that, and the upgrades I got, and I appreciate all that. Thank you so much. Okay, next item on the agenda is equipment purchase. This is for what I call the smaller stuff, chainsaws and stuff that our superintendent will need. Do I have a motion to approve these purchases?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the equipment purchases for Owl Creek with the ARPA funding. It's the smaller tools.
Second,
I'll second that.
questions? Bob?
How much are we talking about? Dollars?
Well, Bob, right now, we're just really the smaller hand tools, saws. I don't know, we could actually be a good time to bring Mike up. Mike, you wanna come up too? Sure. Mike, this is Mike Sumter, he's, the superintendent. He's gonna be running the park.
And what department?
Believe me, we found a good guy here. He's gonna be good at this. Let him know, Mike.
Mike Sumter, Parks Department Superintendent. Pretty much we're starting this department from scratch, so we're looking at building up our inventory of tools, just to not only build the park, but into the future of running the park. Is there any specific questions about the tools or?
I would estimate a conservative, amount would be $1,000.
On chainsaws,
For-
small.
For just the gas hand tools, I think,
All that.
we're looking at
They're-
around $1,800 right now.
Yeah.
That's just one chainsaw, pole saw, backpack blower, heavy duty trimmer, that kind of gas operated two-stroke tools.
Okay.
And then there will also be, just regular hand tools and power tools on that.
Bob?
Can we put a good cap on it so that it's, you approve the funding, but you also don't expend more than what you authorize, like $3,000, $4,000 or?
Well, we authorized him to buy a chainsaw, but we don't actually, he doesn't know right now. I mean, is it up or down right now with
Well,
the,
you
with
really,
the cost?
he makes a good point, you can't just say.
Can't put like it
Yeah.
$4,000,
Just buy something.
$5,000.
Yeah.
So if you can put a not to exceed in the motion,
I think our
for the
budget
small
for-
tools not to exceed, and that puts you some limits.
Okay, do I haven't got the motion yet, have I?
Not
No.
yet.
Yeah, we made a
Oh,
motion.
did you make a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I seconded it, okay.
And
Okay, now, did you put
would
something on there?
would
not
you like
to
to
exceed?
amend that to not to exceed a certain amount?
Hey, I could put on there, what do you think, 3,000?
I would make it higher.
The
than
budget.
that.
Go to
Okay,
You're
let's,
gonna have to come back.
Bridget, what would you think?
Budget's $5,000.
I don't know how much equipment
Not to
it
exceed
is,
the budget.
but.
Well, we'll just put, as of right now, not to exceed 5,000.
Yeah, because that's what the budget is, so that seems like that'd be appropriate.
Yes, I'll second that.
Questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Hang on, Mike.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, now we're getting into some big bucks here. This is the machine that, is going to be needed for our trails out there. You wanna talk about that?
Will be, well, what will be coming later is permission to fit out Ultra that will be matched to.
That's the
this
next
skid
slide.
steer. The skid steer will help us ensure that we can get at least the first phase done this year. If we don't have our right of way cleared out by, March 31st, we'll be shut down for the Indiana bats that migrate through during that time. And what that means is pretty much we just have to have the hardwoods that are gonna be cleared for the year gone before, the bats come in. And, yeah, that'll open it up for our construction that we'll be bidding out for the trails and stuff. As long as we can get that done beforehand.
We have,
Well, yeah, what we're gonna do is, like, we have the phase one, and we actually got phase two, phase three. We can stay at, the equipment we buy, which Mike will be on it running, we'll have people out there. It keeps us really ahead where we can, keep the trails moving, phase one, phase two, and we just, this machine here actually will help us on the right-of-ways. You have to have a certain amount of right-of-way for the trail, and we can do it ourselves. We won't have to really contract it out, and it keeps us ahead in the phases.
And for future
Yeah.
use.
Oh, yeah.
Things that he
it's
needs
gonna
to
be
do to
important
keep
to
the park
maintain the
running.
park.
Because
Yeah.
what we're going through for this, this migration that's coming through, we'll be going through for every phase coming into the future.
This will help you do so much things, move the rock around you need, move the mulch around you need, move just anything in the upkeep of that park. This machine will be able to use for into the future. I mean, you're talking a machine like this probably next 10 years or so.
Well, with the attachment you can buy, we can just stay up, Mike will be taking care of the park, and the attachments you buy for one of them in his operation actually eliminates labor. He can stay up on the park.
We had a big meeting, here Friday, with, Fish and Wildlife, DNR, 10, 12 people in the meeting, and engineering. And they all stressed the need to get this thing moving now. That we, like you talked about the Indiana bat, there is a rule that, March 1st, is it?
It's March 31st.
31st.
Through November.
Okay, there's a migration of the Indiana bat. You do not touch a tree during that time.
No hardwoods.
No hardwood, because the bats nest in those during their migration, and you might hurt bats.
And Bridget, am I right, anytime this happens, that's federal money that we're getting our grants from, and you have to abide by the federal rule.
It's-
So we're trying to stay ahead of that, that's what we're doing to get this done.
There were no question marks in that statement. It's just absolute, that's the way it is. Okay, motion to purchase this item.
It is on the Owl Creek budget under equipment and stuff like that, so that's why, I'll make a motion to, purchase the Kubota skid steer with the Sourcewell State bid for Owl Creek from Crown Equipment, using ARPA funds.
And dollar amount.
And I'm sorry, yes, the dollar amount is $80,425.40.
Second.
And I'm gonna second that, but Mike, I'm gonna tell you, Mike did his work. We actually got a federal help on this, right, Mike?
Correct.
This machine was way more than we did get a discount.
Yeah, I show, I think
You thought they
$20,000
were knocked
discount.
down 40 cents.
Okay, got a second? Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Buy your machine. Okay, the next item is the machine that goes on the front of that machine. It's either called a mulcher or a masticator because it chews up everything. These are pretty vicious machines. They tell me it's like a tilled ground when it passes over. So, any discussion on that? Well, motion first of all to request for bid on this.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the request for bid with the ARPA funds for a Fecon forest mulcher and its attachment for the skid steer.
Okay, second?
I'll second that.
Now, any questions? Okay, go ahead and take your pills.
There's an alarm that went off, so there must be
Go
something
ahead and
wrong.
take your pills, okay. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And if you guys ever watch a video, go watch a video of these things work. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we have the trails cut. You can run this alongside the trails and it just literally looks like a garden field. So it really helps. And then in the future, it's like John and them were talking about when we're widening roads. This machine can be used in other ways in the future for the county that is gonna help us
That's
tremendous.
just thing take down a cedar tree.
Yeah.
That machine, as what you call it, I still call it quick catch, the bucket and everything on the quick catch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you raise a couple arms and the bucket drops off and you can put a lot of different kinds of equipment on the front of the machine, usually a hydraulic hookup. And so these are very adept at taking on, maybe we're talking about a brush hog of course, the blade, buckets, everything like that. So it's an easy change. So,
Well, in this machine here too, if you look at the horsepower on it,
Yeah.
you have to have a high flow, big horse, motor to operate that machine, because, it just takes a lot of horsepower to run this.
there's a lot of hydraulic oil going through that system. Okay, did we get the vote?
Don't put a rock break on, let's rent that one.
Yeah, don't do that. Okay, did we get the vote on that?
I guess we did.
Okay, so, place your bids. Okay, approval to apply for recreational trails.
Thanks,
grant.
Mike.
Thank you, Michael. Bridget, you got anything to say about this? No?
Not really.
Self-explanatory.
It
Okay,
is.
yeah, and, there's the deal.
I'll make a motion, to apply for the recreational trails grant for Owl Creek. It's an 80-20 match, which we're at 20%, and a grant up to $250,000.
And I'll second that, but I do want to applaud Bridget. She keeps her eyes on these grants, and like I say, when we're looking to keep the park moving next phase and phase, she's a big part of that. Yeah, we all look good up here, but I can tell you this, she does
You
her
know it's so
part
hot.
big time.
Let's vote on
Appreciate
that.
that, Buck.
Do you think they look that, does he look that good up there?
Okay, what was that I said earlier about the clerk? Yeah. Okay,
Don't sleep there.
The right-hand side looks a lot better.
okay, approval to apply, who's gonna make the motion?
Yeah, I second.
Okay,
All questions.
any other questions? Except for the clerk. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, request to use sole source provider for the April election information.
Now, this is Atkins, we've got the election, coming up here not too long today for our radio guests. Today is the last day that a candidate can take their name off the list, or they can add a, bond issue as of 5 o'clock today. That's why we have to stay open. This bid, to give you an idea where we were for last, versus last year, the, printing of the ballots is down a little bit. The service for programming the machines is up a little bit because I checked with them and their salaries and things are up. And the other two, election day support and the test deck. The test deck is the deck of all the things that are voted on that have to be, all the machines have to be tested with before and after to make sure that they're counted correctly. And they put that together. Every combination possible
Yeah.
is run through there, and they make that test desk, and that's the same cost as last year. So the total cost is $20,336 for the April election. $36.40.
Okay.
Motion.
I make a motion, request to use the sole source provider Henry Atkins and Sons Incorporated for the supplies for the April election at the cost of $20,336.40 for, I said for the county clerks.
I'll second.
Okay, questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, request to purchase equipment, Buck?
Buck Holcomb, fleet manager for Sheriff's Department. We, ordered 4 cars back in December, and I'm, asking to purchase the equipment, the emergency equipment, and the docking stations, and the MTDs for all the cars. It comes to a total, now this is everything for the cars that we need, all the emergency equipment, the, light bars and speakers, the siren controls, just everything, the,
Cage,
console, cage,
signage,
signage, the cargo barrier, well, the radios. It, comes up to, just the emergency equipment comes up to $9,256 a piece. And then we got another $1,000 each for the mobile data terminal, which is their laptop. So it comes up to $10,256.
okay, now we just bought those MDTs.
Huh?
Yeah,
you're good on MDTs.
Say it
For the
again.
new cars, for
Yes.
the 4 new ones?
Yes.
Okay. And, it comes up
back to 92.
$37,024 for all 4 cars.
Do you have the cars on hand?
No, they'll be here at the end of February or 1st of March.
Okay, so you're buying early for that? Okay.
Yeah, they're already, it's already
The
rolling.
37 buck was without the ones you
Not
saw.
in the-
Okay, 37, because I thought it was at 40, but that was taking those off, so that's good. savings.
$37,024.
Is it, what's these funds coming out of? Dan?
We have worked with the auditor's office and it's coming out actually 2 different funds. Civil fees will be, the sheriff's discretionary funds will pay for part of that. Part of the MDT were budgeted out of different funds, we already bought those, of course. So it's kind of spread out.
That's the docking stations and all.
Okay.
But it's all currently in budget.
Yeah.
It's budgeted.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll make a motion that we approve the request to purchase equipment for the 4 new police cars coming in at the price of $37,020.
No,
26?
24. 37,24.
$37,024 total.
Only thing that does not cover is a little bit of shipping.
Okay.
To be determined.
Okay, second?
I'll second that.
Okay, is this, does it have to be bid? Is it,
No, it's,
sole
through
source?
Omnia pricing, the code 3 pricing, it's government, contracted vendor, so
Okay,
it's all
all right.
good.
Any questions?
Public service upfitters.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, right here, next week. Correspondence,
Yes.
public comments, departmental reports.
2 quick things. One, I reiterate, today's the last day to change the April election. Just let people know that one of what the ladies do out there this time of year. I checked yesterday, Friday, 79, we had 79 different voter registration changes, our new voters. That just came in Friday alone.
In that one day.
On that one day.
Okay.
Which is, they started advertising on Facebook and saying, okay, if you're not registered, now you can't register on Facebook, but it takes you to the website for the Secretary of State's department, which reminds me, I saw where the auditor yesterday got on the Secretary of State for getting rid of the ERIC program that I talked to you about, saying when they're no longer, they eliminated it because they said, oh, it's just, you know, it could be compromised in some way. They couldn't figure out what way, but it could be compromised, so we got rid of it without anything to take it. So no, there's nothing in place where it's out of state when they have a Social Security number that dies or something to inform us.
That's what the
And
answer is.
they haven't replaced it yet, and the auditors, that was the auditor's point. You can't just eliminate something that's working for fear it may not work when you have nothing to take its place.
Not you, Eric.
And we still don't have anything, now 9 months into it, still don't have anything to take its place, which they worry about screwing up the voting system. You know, don't tell us when somebody's died out of state or moved, you know.
I'd also, after that, I would like to, I said in my prayer, but also keep the Archie Camden family in your prayers. He was a long time worker here and worked down in the assessor's office, and he passed away, and we'd like to keep him and his family in our prayers.
Good.
Is the HVAC working in this building properly?
As far as I know, we've had some issues last week that I think they've taken care of it. But there have been a couple of glitches lately.
Is there any?
It's better than it was, but it's not perfect.
We haven't heard
62
from-
in my office this morning.
I was gonna say we hadn't heard from any office, and now we heard from your office. Okay. Nobody else can call, so you didn't.
Is it the same Louis code again?
There's a draft coming from here right now.
Yeah.
And it feels good up there.
Maybe it's just
The heat lamps are working.
Okay, any other departmental reports?
I do know that Brian is working on that with the company, so, yeah, if it is cold, let us know. If it's something not working in your office, let us know. I think Brian's on it, but that might be parts and whatever, it takes forever to get, so.
I'd just like to reiterate what John said earlier, this ice storm over the last 2 days, very dangerous, very treacherous. We had no injuries, no damages, no repairs, no wrecks, and the other municipalities throughout the area cannot say that.
We did not tear up anything either.
Well, we can't say that every storm. This storm, we can't.
So far,
No damage.
what's the forecast? You see any ice coming up in the near field forecast?
No, not in a couple of weeks.
Rain,
looks like.
water.
Rain,
A lot of rain.
maybe Bob will be busy.
Okay, any other departmental reports?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
I'm favor, aye.
Aye.